Hello everybody, Reggie Time here again with what's probably going to be the last instalment from this 4-tabling session from Sky of me reviewing my own play under the Poker is Boring headline, title, call it what you will. If you have been enjoying my content, please do hit the like button, please comment. I always try to reply to comments, please share, just get involved, try and help my channel grow. I do have the sub goal of trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by Christmas, currently on 806, and we're on schedule to make it, but we need to be able to keep subscribing. So if you're not a subscriber, please do hit subscribe, please hit likes, please hit shares, and just get involved. I'm probably going to return to 888 for a little while in the next couple of days. I'm probably going to make some 888 snap videos. Haven't made any for a while. Think we're going to get on with doing that just for a little while. Not 100% certain yet, but much as Sky, the games are really soft. I'm struggling for volume there. So my plan is kind of first part of call, play Sky in the evenings if there's like not a bunch of regulars on. And I can get in games like we do on this video, because obviously that's going to be way better for my bottom line. But instead of like sitting and staring at an empty screen when Sky isn't performing for me, probably do some 888. So we're going to be bringing back some 30NL snap videos very soon, I think. Not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to go with it. So yeah, look forward to doing some more of them. Haven't done any of them for ages and ages. So yeah, that's going to be hopefully something different for some of you guys who are new to subscribe to my channel. So yeah, there we go. A little bit of an update. Let's crack on and finish the video. We've got about 35 minutes of playtime left. We're watching it on a much faster speed, so this might not even be the longest video, depending on how much there is to talk about during it. Flop top pair bottom right versus BA14. Seems like a pretty good spot to see bet. And again, barrel a turn, and hopefully again barrel a river. Even though like tons of draws have missed, I still think it's a spot where we can get some thin value. I'd like to see myself bet something in the region of £2. If we get raised, it kind of sickens us, but nevertheless, I still think we need to bet. No, I don't like that, Reggie. Oh, it turned out that we had the worst hand, but I think we need to bet £2 there. Maybe it could be a little bit thin though. Two limps on table one. In these situations, when people like snowman over limp, they're just not strong ever. I think these players are kind of limited, and if they got a strong hand, they isolate the limper. If they don't, they just over limp. His range for doing this is going to be small pocket pairs, suited connectors. So kind of, it's not the best of boards to see bet, but at the same time, we do have the two overs and the backdoor nut flush draw, and I think not betting here would be a crime, because he's just going to have so many pocket twos, pocket threes, pocket fours that we can just make fold with two barrels. So I'd like to see myself lead out here still, which we do, and he just snap folds. Good stuff. Here again, I'm just calling with the ace queen because of Ray in the big blind. We want to play pot to Ray. We don't want to be blowing Ray out of pots. Flop top two must be nice. Let's see me bet around. Let's see myself bet, because I've been betting small a lot. With this kind of board, I don't think there's really that necessary to bet too small, because we're not going to get value from hands like pocket eights anyway. It's just too scary of a board. So I guess I'd rather see myself go a bit bigger here. I don't think I'm going to, because at the time I had a real excitement for super small bets and like high frequency. I've kind of like modified that a little bit for board texture now. Still betting with a high frequency in position, but various bet sizes based on board texture, my opponent's range, what type of hands I could have, etc. I'm going to guess I'm going to go small here, but now I'd like to see myself go like 140. Just target ace 10, target like any kind of pair plus gut shot, queen, king, 10, king, ace, king, that type of thing. Probably not ace, king, but you know what I mean. Pair plus gut shots or flush draws and things, and just try and get some like value and protection for my hand. So let's see if I go to like 140, but I didn't. Went to 80 pence. We got the call, we got a bad turn. What would I like to do here? I think we just need to bet. You know, we've gone behind to Jack 9 and flushes specifically, but there's still a lot of like worse hands you can call with. So again, I'd like to see myself bet much smaller now though, because it's harder to get called by worse hands. I wouldn't mind seeing a bet of just around £1.40 here, something like that. He calls, and then we're just going to check back this river because it's a dreadful river. And he just had the ace 4. Quads down at the bottom table. We like quads. It's kind of hard to fuck up when you have quads. Let's rewind back and see what's happened, because it's been drawn away to it. It's a limped pot. We flop everything. I don't mind checking here if that's what I do, because like what can we get called by, but I also don't mind betting because we could just get money from a lot of like pocket pairs. And that's not to bet, which is a shame, but anyways, we bet the turn small. We get min raised by Samuel Queen Queen or QQ, whatever. I'd like to see myself make a really small 3-bet here, just to allow us to jam the river. Let's just make it like, I don't know, 240 or something, because by then he's going to be like pretty much pot committed. We can just shove the river. No, Reggie, don't just call, Reggie. What are you doing? Now we're checking up any bets. Now we're going for the raise, but yeah, I'd rather just make the 3-bet and jam the river myself. Turns out he probably didn't have very much, but yeah, not ideal, Reggie time. Not ideal. Leading out with a gut shot, table 3. I don't mind that in the limped pot. 3-bet in the jacks. Completely standard, of course. You get not a terrible flop for our hand in terms of I don't think we're beat very often. It's just going to be hard to get called on this board, although it is pretty dry, so maybe pocket pairs flick a call in now and again. He raises to 375. Right. See, people just do weird things on paired boards, but they also just have like King X a lot. So he's like obviously super polarized here, or he should be. He should really be like King X, pocket 7s, air. That should be how his range looks, with not very much air. But it was against a green tagged player. And I don't recall this hand. I don't remember what it did. I'm fine with either just folding now and just making an incredibly exploitable fold against someone who I don't think is going to be exploiting me, or just call any turn jam and just hope to see enough bullshit. And I'm genuinely fine with either. I don't have any particular reads on this player other than he's green tagged. I don't know if he's loose. I don't know if he's passive, if he's aggressive. Don't know very much about him. I'm fine with either. I think if I had to put a gun to my head, I'd lean to folding, but I'm fine if we just call him and just call the turn. What we don't want to do here is jam, of course. Jamming would be horrific, and I'd be very surprised if I did that. I think call now and then pretty much call any turn jam, or just fold now. Either of those is I'm on board with either. Oh, no. Not sure I fancy my plan of call and call again now on the ace. But it's like £5.15 to 15. I genuinely don't remember the hand. I don't know what it did. It looks like I'm leaning towards calling. I don't know. I'd actually prefer to see myself fold now, I think. Even though I said call on the flop. Now he's like jamming the turn at ace, which would be a scare card if he was dicking around with like pocket 8s, pocket 9s, whatever. With the ace coming as well, I think it gives him extra incentive to just give up. I'd prefer to see myself fold here. And I did just and so get on the fold, and I'm fine with that. I know I said that let's call and then can't call any turn, but then when the ace comes in, he doesn't slow down and he doesn't go all in. He just bets a small amount. Kind of feels like he's probably just going to have it a lot there. But in general, I don't really like calling check raises on those dry boards and then just folding turns. It's not really what I enjoy doing. It's not what I'm about. It's not what I do. But I'm glad that I didn't just like randomly stick to kind of some overall strategy I have when maybe that specific situation calls for something different. Here we are now. We're now 3-betting Ouija with ace-10. And Ouija was actually kind enough to comment on my previous video saying that maybe I should have started 4-betting him later. If you go back to the last video, you actually see comments where Ouija introduced himself to me in the comment section and says, I 4-bet him a couple of times later in the video that maybe I should just call and trap him with, which makes me believe that Ouija thought I was 4-betting him just with value hands and never 4-bet bluffing him. But we didn't this time. We did just go for like the 4-bet. I consider this a 4-bet bluff with ace-10. I'm certainly not 4-betting for value versus Ouija. I don't think he's going to call with many worse hands. And even if he does, getting to collect my equity post-flop out of position is going to be difficult. So when I make this 3-bet out of position, it is absolutely 100% as a bluff. And maybe he was, with him saying that maybe he thinks I should have just called and trapped him, or maybe he just put me on pure value when I 3-bet him twice, or maybe when I 4-bet him, whatever it was that I did. And as you can see, that wasn't the case. And he did call, which was kind of unfortunate, but given that we've kind of like, we know what our image looks like to him, we know we suspect he's just going to, because we have laid down to him a few times, he's going to suspect that when we do 3-bet, we're going to have a value hand. I think just giving up when we miss is not going to be ideal. I really don't know what I'm doing with his C-bet size. I guess I'm just like obviously I'm just putting Samuel all in. I'd much rather this was around £3 to the low. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, ignore me. Ouija's folded. They're completely fine. We're just putting Samuel all in. For a minute there, I thought Ouija still had cards. Ignore me, I'm being a dick. Yeah, obviously the C-bet size is fine because it's all we need to put into to put Samuel all in. Before we get the we got the result. I was going to say I like the line I've taken there against French. It puts pressure on 10x, puts pressure on 5x. He was called twice. Obviously with ahead of his missed diamond draws, I guess, or his other draws. But I like going all in rather than just checking back. It's just sickening when you check and he snap checks back ace-5 or something. So I like the line that I took, and obviously I like the result. So with the Queen 10 here against French, pretty wet board. I wouldn't hate to call, but I think I'd just like to see myself raise here against French. I'm happy to play for all of French's chips here on this board, and I quite like just like folding the dub out with whatever he's got, just get him out of the way, play the pot heads up with French. I'd like to see myself raise here. It doesn't really matter what to, because the intention, the reason for the raise is effectively just to make dub fold. So anything 180 through £3 I'm fine with. And dub does fold, and now we're just going to ship the turn against French, I hope. And he just folds again. Which is kind of interesting, because I wouldn't expect people to like bet call that flop and then check fold the turn on the 5 brick. It's not really what I would expect to see, but French seem to do it. not much going on right now, so not much to say, I'm afraid. If I remember correctly, we start getting short-handed on a few tables soon, which does test me, because as a natural nit, playing short-handed really, and it's not something that I enjoy doing. I'm completely fine doing it against players that I have an edge against, of course, or players that I feel I have an edge against. But I'd much rather just play. Well, I'd much rather play full ring if full ring wasn't just such an absolute nitfest these days. That would be my ideal hunting ground. If I could go back to the full ring days of 2009, 2010, 2008, I'd be a very happy boy. But sadly, that doesn't exist anymore. There's no point wistfully looking back and wishing it would still happen. It's not there. If full ring ever makes a comeback, then I'll be making a full ring comeback to the Triple H streets. I'm hoping to play a little bit of full ring on Triple H sometimes if I log in and there's maybe 5 or 6 good 15L full ring tables playing, then I'll be all over them, and maybe even think about trying to play some 100L full ring by the end of the year. But the game quality needs to exist for me to want to do that, so we'll wait and see. That's just something that would be nice to happen, but isn't actually a goal or a plan. But it would be nice if we somehow, maybe now and again when the jackpot gets up on Triple Eight and the 100L full ring jackpot games turn soft, it'd be a nice time to just play them and just try and have a nice little, however you want to call it, and just try and parlay some, just, I don't know, if you can play them for a week while the jackpot's high and have a bit of heat, you can certainly have a very good month and then just return back to normal. I have no issue doing that, by the way. Alright, here we go. We're playing short-handed with Liam, and I didn't know much about Liam at the time. My impression was, I played with him a few times, I didn't know how to tag him because he was one-tabling. He seemed to be aggressive, but not manically loose aggressive. He was I didn't know anywhere near much about him. I played him a couple of times, I've played him sometimes since. And if I had to describe him, I would say he's an aggressive semi-regular. Not super loose, but certainly not a nit. I think Ace Queen's obviously a completely standard raise versus him here. Versus someone who with his type of profile, heads up. And this is where I do fall down for sure. I could easily be making a big mistake here. Heads up play against semi-decent aggressive players would not be my forte by a long way. He 4-bets me to just under 30 blinds. And I don't know what to do here. Genuinely don't. I don't know whether Ace Queen's going to be a fold. I think we certainly can't call. So he's kind of putting me in a jam or fold spot, and I just presumed it was a fine jam. If he's ever got any bluffs in his range, if he's ever 4-betting King Queen and shit like that, or maybe 4-bet folding pocket 8 or something, I don't know, or even just 4-bet getting it in pocket 8s. I'm presuming this is good, but if there are any good decent heads up players watching this, heads up sit and go players or heads up cash players or whatever, I doubt there will be, but if there are, I'd really be interested in hearing people's opinions on this jam. I think it's fine. I didn't like doing it. It's not my style. Getting it all in pre-flop. As anyone who watches a lot of my videos will know this. I'm not an all-in pre-flop type of guy. I'm not even an all-in post-flop with cards to come type of guy. I'm very much let's keep things nice and slow and steady, to using the grano, tranquilo, just keep things small. Trying to stay in control of situations. Don't let situations get out of control very much. And when you're in these situations, they are getting out of control. Getting all in pre-flop with Ace Queen is out of control in terms of, we're going to need to hit to win probably, or get lucky to win. We're massively increasing our variance here for my style of play. It's not something I enjoy doing, but as you can see, it's something I'm very prepared to do if I feel it's the right play. So I did just go all in. You can see I was tempted to fold, but I did just go all in and ran into the top of his range and did not get there. And that's kind of annoying because that's not what I'm playing on Sky for. I'm not playing on Sky to aggressively battle with regulars. Didn't want to do it. It kind of annoyed me that we got in that situation, but at the same time, I felt it was the right play and it just didn't work out, whatever. So but it's not what I'm looking to do. Not in love with this seabed on table 1. Don't think it's terrible because we do have a pair and some back doors, but if we're going to seabed there, I'd rather see me seabed a little bit bigger. I think 60 is too small. But as I said at the time, I did have a bit of a hard on for the small bets. I have altered that a little bit now. Still going for like the smallish bets, but not as small as I was going. I think I kind of overplayed my hand with that. Let's see, must I go pretty big here against Ouija in this river. I think he can have a lot of like ace-x, 2-pair type hands. As a bit of a pre-flop warrior Ouija, if you are watching this video at any point, I would appreciate hearing your comments on that ace-queen hand. I'm pretty sure it's completely standard, but nevertheless, as someone who is more of like a pre-flop, kind of like quite an aggressive pre-flop strategy, hearing your opinion on that would be interesting to me. Get all the money off JFT, which is nice there. See me bet here versus Conga, which on table 1, which we do. Let's see me some bet the turn as well. If he does check, bet the turn like 80 pence to £1, something like that. 60 is too small, Reggie. Fucking get your act together. And we have the ace king down here on table 1. If anything develops, table 3. If anything develops, we'll go back to it. We'll just focus on the ace 10 against Conga for now, though. And are we actually going to make a bet on this river Reggie or what? Wow, we check back. I don't like that. I misplayed that hand very badly against Conga there. Bet bigger turn. Bet river Reggie. Come on. Maybe my focus was taken away slightly with this ace king hand. I don't know, but for me it's a slam dunk river value bet, but didn't make it. Not that happy with myself. Here we are with the ace king in a pretty damn bloated pot. We've got like an SPR of 2.3 or whatever. Not ideal. In the 7-4-7. Check back the flop. I think that's completely fine. He leads the turn. Yeah, I think we're going to go for the raise here, and I think I like it because we want to be able to shove the river at this point. It's super unlikely he has a 7 in this situation, given how pre-flop went down. So, yeah, I think we need to raise here. And he just folded. Whatever. Fine result. With a decent sized pot there with just 1 pair. Never going to complain about that. Well, let's see myself squeeze again here. Again, we just had the 1 squeeze against Predator. Doing it again here with the hand as strong as pocket 10s makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, hopefully getting Ouija out of the pot, getting heads up against Predator would be ideal. I wouldn't be surprised if I just called, but I'd like to see a squeeze. And we do go for it again, do we? Yes, we do. Interesting spot against Ouija here all of a sudden. Because his 4-bet range here doesn't have to have 10s, but he's going to have a lot of ace, king, ace, queen. We don't block any of that, the big ace hands he can have, the big Broadway hands that he can have. And I think we can, given how he probably views us, I think we can jam here and get him to fold a lot of ace, jack, ace, queen, king, queen suited. If he's 4-betting those hands, he's maybe not 4-betting king, queen suited, but he's definitely going to have some 4-bet plus in his range, in my opinion. Some like just random ace X stuff and maybe some king X stuff, but more likely ace X stuff, I would imagine. Like ace X suited ace. Maybe he's the player that like 4-bets ace 6 through ace 9 as a bluff. Or maybe he's the guy that 4-bets the wheel aces, suited wheel aces, the bluff. Maybe he's just 4-betting ace queen here, and we're going to put him in a really tough spot when we jam. Yeah, I'd like to see us jam here against Ouija, because I think, of course, when he has the queens, kings, aces, we're going to get owned. And I think we can put a ton of pressure on a lot of his slightly these 4-bets that aren't basically queens plus, so we can put a ton of pressure on, because he's going to view us as someone who's pretty nitty. When we 5-bet jam here, or if we do, our range is going to look an awful lot like aces, kings, queens, because, you know, he's watching my videos, he knows I'm a fucking nit. So I think this is going to carry a lot of weight, and I'd like to see myself go for it. We do. And I don't think we're getting Ouija to fold a better hand here, but when we've got pocket 10s, we're sure as hell getting him to fold some equity, I would imagine. Unless he's just randomly doing that with 8-9 suited or something, which seems very unlikely. So yeah, I'm pleased with how that went down. Pleased that I pulled the trigger. Again, that's not a situation I'm wanting to create for myself. I'm not wanting to get in pissing contests with regulars. That isn't what I'm trying to do. But at the same time, I'm happy to get run over to a certain extent. I don't mind, because I want to play pots against fish. But if I think people start getting out of line against me and taking the piss, then I have to, at some point, say, no, this is enough's enough. We have to take a stand. Because otherwise, people will just run over me constantly. So I don't mind getting run over in small pots. But because I'm not looking to 3... If Predator wasn't in that pot, I probably would just have called with pocket 10s pre-flop. Let's play some small pots. But once Predator calls, I have to squeeze. We've got a loose aggressive player opening, we've got a loose passive player, or someone who I think is going to be loose and passive on the button. I just need to squeeze there. It's a proper good squeeze spot. We get Ouija out, we have a value hand against Predator. It's what I need to do. And if I do squeeze there, I can't just be having loose aggressive players making me fold everything that isn't super, super premium. Because it's just going to cost me way too much money. It's going to hurt me too much. So, much as I don't want to get in those situations with those players, I'm prepared to go into battle when I have to. I'm uncomfortable with it. I don't like doing it, but I'm prepared to do it. I'm actually not sure there's many more interesting spots for the rest of this video. We'll watch it through probably. There's about another 17 minutes of play. But I think it kind of tailed off. Alright, what am I typing in there? I just make a message to myself to talk about in the video. Have I gone back too far here? No, I don't think I have. I'm not sure what I'm typing that to. So I'll probably just type in that to. Maybe I've made a mistake somewhere that I've not noticed, or I feel like I'm gonna start making mistakes. This was quite early in the morning, and I remember making this, and I was exhausted. Literally, I was almost falling asleep at the computer. I was tired, but as we typed in, the games really are really good. I mean, this table 1's really good. Well, you can just see for yourself. The games are great, and I kind of forced myself to stay up and play them, because even if I'm not playing my best, I still expect to be making money in these games. And it's not often you get games as many tables as this good. If we just had 1 or 2 tables, I might be thinking, just walk away for the night. But I think my hourly at these tables, 4 table in these, is going to be upwards of 10, maybe £12 an hour. with like this many bad players, and you guys might be like, what are you fucking talking about? That's an insane win rate. But when the tables are this good, my win rate's probably 15 or more big blinds per 100. And if we're getting whatever, like 300 hands per hour in, and we're getting 15 blinds 100, if we say we're getting 15 blinds 100 at an average of what, 20, 30, so 25 NL, 15 blinds 100 times 300, so we're getting 15 times 25, which is 250, 375 times that by 3 for 3 tables. Yeah, we're getting upwards of way over £10 an hour, and we need to be just in there mixing it up, getting the money. Obviously we're going to 4-bet train poker here, I would imagine. Right, why didn't I 3-bet there? I remember why I didn't 3-bet there, 4-bet there, because Train Poker and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago where I didn't view him as this. I used to view Train Poker as somebody who was just a moderate regular, hence no offence to Train Poker at all. He's got the orange tag and not the red tag. But then he let slip to me at the table that he considers himself a lag player. So I'm hoping I'm going to go for a check raise here. Because if he's let slip to me, he thinks he's a lag player, that means he's going to have quite a few 3-bet bluffs in his range. And we have that pocket kings. Yeah, we're vulnerable to the ace coming in there, because my plan would probably be trap him here, check raise the flop. And we are like risking an ace coming off and fucking us, or risking him out flopping us in some way. But overall, I don't mind. As long as I go for the raise here, I'm fine with it. We do go for the raise. And in she goes, and we just, obviously, yay, we've cooled somebody. Go for us, aren't we fucking geniuses? Just call here against any two will do. Obviously just calling again. Oh, and he goes for the big bet on the river. I think it's actually quite close now between calling and folding. Yeah, our hands under repped a little bit. So I guess if you have to talk about like what would make us want to call, what would make us want to fold. Obviously bet size comes into it. Against a smaller bet, it's a much easier call here. If this bet was 398, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It would just be like, let's call. We've got like our opponent's range. He's raised from early position, or is he raised from early? Well, middle position. He's now triple barrel, so his range is going to have a lot of strong hands in it, you would imagine. I'd imagine something like, for value, his worst hand here would probably be something like ace king, maybe something like that. For value, maybe he's, I don't know, ace 8. I doubt it. I mean, you might have ace 8, but it seems very unlikely he would use his sizing with ace 8. Everything else is all these other ace 8s, all these other value bets are going to be 2 pair plus, going to be ace king or 2 pair plus. We do have a jack, so we take away some combos of the nuts, of course. Overall, versus this sizing, given how strong his range looks, and we've only got 1 pair, I think I'd like to see myself fold this river. Don't remember the hand. We might end up calling if I was tired. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. But versus this size, I think it's probably going to be a fold. Well, probably should be a fold at least. Because we just don't beat very much. And we do fold. I'm quite pleased with that. Not pleased that I lost a hand, of course, but pleased with my discipline. Flop a flush drawn 2 overs on table 1. I think I'd like to see him as I go for a check raise here in a multi-way pot. And we do. And we get the fold, which is nice. I mean, I don't mind getting the money in there, 2 overs and a flush draw, but obviously getting the fold's a super result. Yes, I'm thinking about bluffing this river here, but with the 4-6, but Don't think he's going to have a particularly high success rate. Probably would have done against pocket fives exactly, but it's fine just to like recall there, just for because it's such a small bet. But we're not super hopeful we're going to have the best time. We're not super hopeful we're going to get folds. But at the same time, when people just bet in 20 pence and we have a pair, etc., then let's just call and see what happens. As you can see against Ouija, I'm not looking to do anything crazy against him. Surprised with his defend there with the 10. We may have min-raised pre-flop though. If a 3x pre-flop, then I think his defend is kind of ambitious. If we min-raise pre-flop, then obviously it's completely fine. And he just gave up against me, which is, again, don't hate that with his exact hand. I think we're fine to check back on that board, check down, expect to win quite a lot. Go back and look at this hand versus water taxi for a moment. So we raise the king 9 pre, which I think it's fine when there's a fish in the pot. We get a flopper. We flopped a good shot. We see bet. I thought was fine. Water taxis. He's orange tagged, but that tag is wrong. That tag needs to change. I actually think he's a pretty good player. I never used to. I used to think he was a little bit too loose and kind of. No, I don't know. I just thought it was too loose. He was playing a few tables, but I thought it was too loose. But the more I play with him, the more I actually think he's a pretty good player. He plays a similar-ish style to me. He's not like a major warrior. He's certainly not a pre-flop warrior. He likes to see flops. He likes to play pots with fish. I don't think he gets out of line. I think when he's usually putting bets in, he's going to have it. That tag is unfair to Water Taxi. That should be a red tag. I actually think he's a decent regular. Now, I've read some of the guys talking about him at the table. And they don't seem to rate him. I do, actually. I think he's one of the better regulars. I think he just gets Sky. I think he understands what you need to do to win on Sky. And I think he's a very solid player. We barrel the turn. And then we just give up the river. And he turned up with the king 9 of diamonds, didn't he? So we had us in rough shape on the turn. Ooh. So we've been raised here on the river from Samuel, and it's a min raise. It's a fucking grim spot. And let's go back and see how the hands played out. Oops, gone back too far. It's going to come up next hand, I think, isn't it? So we just we just check the big blind. We flop top pair. Bet. Get called. Turns brick, or relatively brickish anyway. Bet again. You get called. And the river is, on the face of it, quite a good card for us. And I like to go for an absolute boomer of a bet. I actually go for the over bet here. I guess I'm hoping to get value from 8-9, 10-9, pocket jack, 7-9. There's lots of worst nines he can have. Either player can have lots of worst nines. I think king 9 and ace 9 are much less likely than 7-9, 8-9, 10-9, Jack-9. I think they're way less likely, because people like to like limp in with like this connected type hands. Of course they can have Ace-9 and shit too. I'm not disputing that. But I think at this point we're overbetting for value, hoping that 8-9 and what have you just obviously calls or what have you. We get min raised. I don't like it. At this point I'm thinking, we could be fucked here. He could have full houses. He could have the Ace-9 or the King-9 for sure and play this exactly the same way. I don't like it, but I think folding is too tight. I really didn't like it. Because when you get min raised on the river and you got this type of hand, yeah, you know, you've got trips, it's all life's all wonderful, etc. But and we get bluffs that, you know, is he really just gonna do this with like 2 hearts or 8-7 or something like that? I mean, this was a crying call I made. It was a crying call. I didn't like it, and we were beat by the 9-6. And there you go. Yeah, I was sad about that. But we clearly cannot fold. And if I do have the best hand there, it's kind of a nit roll. But yeah, kind of wish I'd managed to find a fold there, because we don't really beat very much. You should bet this river versus Blondie with the King Jack. Aces. Interesting check back on the turn there. Certainly earned them some money. But then again, it probably didn't earn them some money, because I wasn't going to be folding my King Jack anytime soon. Then well, I've got 3 streets from me there. Had these gone bet. I understand why players check back when they get called on a paired board, because they're scared of the unlikely trips, etc. Understand it, but he just needs to keep betting there. And if we do have a 4, then he'll find out about it on the river probably, which is too late, but nevertheless, I still think he should just keep betting. Kind of like when there's trips on board, I just want to talk about this briefly for a moment, pause the video. When there's trips on board, if the low trips, we should be less scared of them than when the higher trips. Like when it's 4-4x, like people have way less 4x in the range. If it's like 8-8x or 9-9x or 10-10x, people have all the 8-9s, 10-9s, Jack-10s, all those types of like higher suited connectors. So there's way more trips they can have. When the board's like deuce-deuce-x, 3-3x, 4-4x, people have way less of like deuce X and stuff in the range, because there's way less hands you want to call with pre. Yeah, they can have like the ace deuce suited, the ace 3 suited, ace 4 suited, and a few other combos. But there's way more like it's trips on board, and it's like a middling to high card. In my opinion, people are way more likely to have trips then than they are when the trips are like a low card, just because they're playing way more combos of high cards than they are low cards. So if you are worried about trips on board, be worried more about the medium to high ones and not be less worried about the low ones. So the videos now, we've got 4 more minutes of video to play through. Probably only got 2 or 3 more minutes of video left, which actually work out quite nicely for how long the videos lasted. It looks like we're just winding all our sessions. Yes, we are. We're winding them all down now. I think we just need to call this against 4th telly. We haven't played the hand particularly well, but we need to call him. He's got there with the 10-4 of clubs. Whatevs. So this is exactly a good situation. This is when we can be slightly scared of trips. If we get called here, we can start thinking he can have 10-9, Jack-10, 10-8 suited, King-10, Ace-10. There's way more 10x he can have. If this was Queen-4-4 or Queen-3-3, I'd be happy going bet. No problem whatsoever. Bet. And if he just were to turn up with the low trips, then fuck my life. If we get called here, I think we still need to bet the turn, but if the river breaks out, I think we can sometimes consider checking back. We certainly need to bet the turn if we get called to protect our hands from draws, etc. But yeah, we need to bet this flop and bet the turn. The 9 is far from a good card. I think this is definitely bet turn check back river situation here, but he just folds, so that's all fine. Yeah, so I think we're just going to stop it here. Looks like we're just going to be down to one table in a second, and there's going to be like 2 more minutes of video, but probably only one hand. So yeah, we'll stop it here. I hope you guys have enjoyed me reviewing my own play. I've certainly, like, watching it back, I've noticed some things that I did that I don't like the small sizing. It was a nice experiment. I think it's interesting. I was absolutely overdoing it, unquestionably. But I guess we all do that. When you get a new toy, you play with it too much, don't you? I guess it's like when you're a young teenage boy, and apologies to any women listening or any people that are easily offended. But when you first find wanking, you can't stop doing it. You're doing it every single day because it's like the best thing ever. If that has offended you, I do apologise. But it's kind of like when you find like a new trick in poker, you kind of overdo it. You do it too much, and then you just find a way of working it into your game and adding it to your strategy without overdoing it. It's something I'm still doing, but I'm not doing it anywhere near how it was in the same way I was doing it then. And yeah, we live and learn. We try new things. We overdo it. We then realise when it should and shouldn't be used, and hopefully we add it to our game and it makes us a better player. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like if you've got this far. You must have enjoyed it, so please do hit the like button. Please do share it if you have any poker playing friends. And yeah, we'll probably, in fact, my next video is we're going to be reviewing Umbongo's video for sure, 100%. And then we might start with some 13L, like live sweat sessions. Do some of them for a while. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, have a great week, and bye-bye for now.